Hello there everyone, Nita Rose here and welcome to my channel. This is the review video of Fairy Tail 100 Quest Volume 19, starting with Chapter 163 titled Black Will and ending it with Chapter 171 titled 6 Black Powers. Natsu was thinking that she was Faris from Elantir or Edelith, but Faris corrected in saying that she's actually the Earthland version, and discussed that there are many different universes in the world with different people, but with the same identities. But Ignia doesn't care who she is, or if she's the Black Wizard, as Zeref is dead along with Acnologia, as he felt something from her that reminds him of that black dragon, and Natsu was wondering the same thing. It turns out that Faris has Acnologia's arm, which is the same arm that Ignio bit off back in Tartaros. She ends up finding it and claimed herself to be the embodiment of the black dragon. After hearing that, Ignia had the Sonaro sisters unleash a dragification magic all over the continent of Geltina. Ignia revealed the true meaning of the labyrinth that Darman have created, and it was to suppress his powers along with all the dragon gods. Natsu just learned the reason why the dragon gods were so easy to defeat before was because they were not at their full power, and now all the dragon gods are changing into their dragon form. So now that the dragon gods had either been deceased or become allies to Natsu and the others, are now forcibly transforming into their dragon form as they lose control of themselves and went on a rampage. Ignia explained that his comrades spend centuries spreading roots all over the continent creating lacrimas that not only reawaken the dragon god's powers, but also going to transform humans into dragons. Natsu was shocked to hear this kind of plan as Faris took an interest, but she wants to destroy both dragons and humans, and Natsu wants to protect the humans as he gets all fired up. But suddenly he sees his friends looking at him with an expression of confusion as he was recently teleported away after saying those lines. They got upset with him for leaving them in the dust like that, but then they brushed it off as there's more important matters to discuss. But with Ignia's group, they see Natsu disappear as they realize it was the Law Dragon's magic that teleported him away. Faris also makes her disappearance as she declared war against the dragon and humans. Ignia's planning on turning his crew members into dragons as well, and they seem to like the idea. And then Faris introduced her army crew known as the Demon of the Book of Faris, the Irration Sish. Back in Malgeria, the crest of the dragon gods start to glow as the impacts of the dragon gods are going on a rampage. But Natsu suggests that they should be the ones to stop them as they did before. But Alsuria suggests that they shouldn't do that as the dragon gods are at their full power and they're stronger than before. He mentioned that the lacrimas are the ones that causing all the destruction and turning humans into dragons. But then Natsu remembered what Ignia said about his plan of creating the True Dragon King Festival and then shouted it out as everyone looked at him dumbfounded. But they paid no mind to what he just said as Lucy suggests that they destroy the lacrimas. Natsu suggests that they should separate and that each one of them will take on the lacrima on their own. You know, I thought this was a dumb plan as they are stronger together, but after thinking about it, it may not have been a bad idea considering the short amount of time they had to come with an idea what they're gonna do. Because during the time that they were chatting, dragons are going on a rampage and humans are rapidly transforming. So yeah, I think going on separately may have been the fastest route to end this chaos, but of course it's not going to be easy. We see that once Lucy got to Elmina, she's already having trouble and has to deal with the dragon-human hybrids, and then she has to go face with dragon-human Carmille. Boy, were people excited for the next chapter because it's gonna be a Lucy fight. And I will admit, I always did find Lucy's fight interesting in 100 Quests, so I'm a little excited myself. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Zero is back as a demon, but I can actually care less about this guy because he's actually one of my least interesting villains. There's also this whole conversation with Faris and her demon crew and we get to know their names, but I can actually care less as I have no interest in what they're saying. Now on to the chapter that everyone is hyped up, including myself, only to turn into a disappointment for me. I mean, there's still a fight between Lucy and Camille, but it wasn't as hyped as I expected. I kinda thought that Lucy would come up with some kind of strategy to beat Camille at her own game. Lucy is at a disadvantage because the only thing she can do is use her star dress of Aquarius that will help her fight underwater. But she can't summon any spirits if they can't breathe underwater. And Camille is pretty strong in her dragon hybrid form. Lucy comes to a realization that splitting up might be a bad idea and that only meant to destroy the lacrimas and not fight the dragons. While on the next page we see Natsu come back to the Fire Dragon Castle to fight Ignia. but it turns out that he isn't there, nor is the rest of his subordinates. However, we got the transformed dragon hybrid Brian as he starts to take on Natsu. We then learn that Ignea's heading towards Faris and wants to even a score with her as he sees her as the perfect warm-up. Faris sensed Ignea coming her way and decided to take him on once he gets there. She ordered her minions to hunt down the humans and dragons. It cuts back to Lucy's fight as she's still at a disadvantage while getting clobbered by Camille. She suddenly starts to hear the clenching of her own heartbeat as everything around her starts to remind her of Aquarius. And right before Camille starts to finish her off, Brandish comes in. Here we see Brandish overpowering Camille as she's knocked her out of the water. Lucy thanks Brandish for the save as she was wondering if Lucy was the one who did the body swap from the previous chapters, but Lucy denied it. Brandon then shrugs it off as Lucy asked her why she's here, and then Brandish asks Lucy why she couldn't sense it. Lucy then sensed something coming from beneath the water. It turns out to be a lacrima, and inside the lacrima she sees Aquarius's key. Brandish has been following its magic, which leads her to where she is now. Lucy swam towards the key, but then Brandish stops her as she's here to claim the key for herself, believing that Aquarius belongs to her mother. Lucy told Brandish that she's not a possession, but her friend, but they get interrupted by the water dragon god who is circling the lacrima. The dragon is coming towards them as Brandish claims that her magic wouldn't be enough to stop it, but then Lucy uses her water aqua powers while telling Brandish to destroy the lacrima. Brandish tells Lucy that she might take off with Aquarius's key after she destroys the lacrima, but Lucy knows that's not going to happen because she knows Brandish wouldn't do that. Lucy getting thrown out of the water and into the mouth of the dragon. But don't worry, she's still alive in the next chapter. Lucy becomes a giant and uses Macphobia's body as a bat to destroy the lacrima. Now, I remember people from the fan base complaining about Lucy easily taking out a full power dragon in this chapter, much better than when Natsu did it when he was not as strong. You can argue and say that the power scales are off because, first of all, Lucy is a fucking giant in this chapter, while Natsu was normal size and eating igneous flames to give them the boost that he needs. While Lucy got her power boost from being a giant that is twice the size of the dragon she's swinging around. I say they seem pretty equal in my book, but I also had to admit this Lucy fight is probably the least interesting that I've witnessed so far, but I'll still give it a pass. I also want to mention how Brandish's power is shown in this chapter, witnessing how OP it is. Brandish has always been OP, and it's amusing as to what she can do. She gets the idea of turning Lucy into the giant and have her use the dragon to destroy the lacrima, as she assumed that it will take a dragon slayer to destroy it. Yeah, I mean, what could be more powerful than the dragon slayer than the dragon itself? So after the lacrima was destroyed, Aquarius's key was set free. Macphobia changes back into his human form along with everyone else in town. Now the two girls are staring at each other for the right to have the key. Macphobia seemed to recognize Aquarius's name, and both Lucy and Brandish were surprised. The key glowed caused Aquarius to appear, and as usual, she scolds both girls. She also seems to know Macphobia as well, which makes things interesting about their history. Anyways, we cut to the Natsu versus Brian fight, and after a while, Natsu gave him one fire punch to the face, although it's severe damage to Brian, but it did not take him out. Then we see Miss Fortune again, as she believes that she's also turned into a dragon, but looks no different than her normal self. I guess the dragon spell doesn't work on Exceeds. Miss Fortune got upset that she couldn't turn into a dragon, and decided to take Happy away for her to fight him one-on-one, leaving Natsu dealing with Brian. Natsu finally takes him down and learns that Ignea is going after the Black Wizard Faris, but doesn't know the location. Later on, we see Miss Fortune take Happy to an unknown location as they settle their little fight. But Happy doesn't want to fight her, but she insisted that they should fight as she believes that is her destiny. We also get a little backstory about Miss Fortune and how she's always hurting people by touching them. She's a fire cat who brings destruction around her, which is how she given the name Miss Fortune. She became enraged of pain as her fire rises, but Happy managed to go through her as the fire doesn't affect him because he's so used to Natsu. He even said that her name isn't Miss Fortune, but rather Miss Fortune. This calmed her down as she decided to tell Happy about Ignea wanting to kill all humans, not to end up fighting him then kicks Miss Fortune for kidnapping Happy. But of course, this is Natsu being Natsu. Later we see Aquarius willing to share her key with Lucy and Brandish, which did get me upset that we didn't see the fight between Lucy and Brandish over the key, but after a month or two of reading this chapter again, I've kinda gotten over it. But instead, Brandish decided to let Lucy have the key as her only goal was to find it, but not take it because her true goal was to give it to Lucy the whole time. Which is an interesting twist considering throughout the whole chapters, she's so determined to find the key and travel all the way to another continent only just to give it away. But it is understandable as it's confirmed that Brandish is not a celestial wizard. So even if she decided to keep this key, she can't use it. And so in the end, she decided to leave. Lucy and Aquarius are now reunited. Next, we see Urza in the ruins of Jamia, and there she finds the giant Lacrima. But she also ends up running into the demons of the Book of Ferris with Zero in the lead. Now the fans were skeptical about seeing Urza fighting the demons by herself, but we later see that didn't happen. She was also surprised to see Zero is alive. There is an explanation as to why he's alive and has something to do with Nirvana and that he absorbed its power and somehow made him immortal. It is also discovered that the Wood Dragon God has been killed thanks to this woman's ability to melt anything away. They even ended up destroying the giant Lacrima, and now each member is starting to attack Urza one by one as she was struggling to deal with them. But then we see a little feather go by, and there are the former members of the Arachon Seis with the new member by their side. And here is where the volume ends. So my final thoughts on this volume? Well, I have to say it did get me interested in the next one. Lucy getting Aquarius back is rewarding, and learning the purpose of the labyrinth and seeing the Arachon Seis again is exciting too. I've always did like those people, even though they were villains. But what do you guys think of this volume? Do you like it? Dislike it? Please tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, please leave a like, and if you want to see more, you may subscribe and hit the notification button. And I'll see you all next time.